Someone make it make sense.
Probably a couple.
Guys, crazy things. So here's what happened. The documents we're about to take a look at were literally just filed. 3:26 at 4:02 p.m. Okay, so I was texting with Twiz about the maps and the towers and whatnot, right? And literally he sent me something and I was trying to find it for the documents. And I was on my phone, not my computer. And because of that, I happened to see, I was like, oh, wow, there's new documents. And what's crazy is that on my computer, you can't find these. Like these documents we're about to take a look at are not, when I load the Idaho judicial cases of interest, like on my computer on different browsers, they're not posted yet. And other people have commented on this, how sometimes they show up for certain people earlier than others. So it's even device specific. I don't know why. It's odd. But the point being that had I not been on my phone at that time, I wouldn't have even seen these because normally I'm using my computer and refreshing it. So anyway, so I got them onto the iCloud from the phone and then got them onto the computer and here they are. So crazy. This just happened. And so I was like, all right, let's go live. We have these SIRE affidavits where we're going to get so much information about the AT&T timing advance reports that we've, all these questions we've been asking ourselves and trying to figure stuff out. And it's just so much. So welcome Meg, welcome Franks, welcome Carla. Love you guys. And God willing, we might have a Twiz join us if he's not being lame like earlier. I mean, this is really, if there ever was a time, right? If there ever was a time, and it would almost be funny how, he didn't come on earlier. And if ever there was a first time on the show, it would be very appropriate, wouldn't it? Welcome, Kane. Welcome, Official. Hello. Official took a great nap. Love it. We got the rat daddy in the house, in the hizzy. So, okay. All right. So we're going to start with this one. So this is the vague and undisclosed expert testimony. So we have a affidavit of SIRE in support of the defense motion limine number 2, vague and undisclosed expert testimony. And that's all that is. And then the interesting part is coming right up. Here we go. Affidavit of SIRE. I'll zoom in. Okay. So this is as it pertains to Nick Balance, guys. Official has 2 accounts. Wow, interesting. Member account, love it. All right, he's an adult. Okay, great. All right. In preparing this affidavit, I reviewed the motion limiting number 2, vague and undisclosed expert testimony. I've reviewed all of the state's responses in reference to this motion, as well as SA Balance's draft report and final report. And as far as the expert witness testimony filings, right, because there's a slew of new documents, we haven't read the state's most recent response. I was planning on doing that tonight, but we're doing this right now because it was, more important. So we will get to all of the rest if any of it is referenced. Okay. I'm addressing the matter of FBI Special Agent Nick Balance's anticipated testimony in this affidavit and what has not been disclosed. I've reviewed the initial reports, final report, first discourse, second disclosures, and now the third disclosure. That's probably supposed to say the first disclosure. Despite this progression of disclosure, SA Balance's opinions on the relevant issues at hand still have not been disclosed. I have reviewed, and I have to say that these affidavits, as we will learn, are really in response to the fact that Judge Hippler said that, he denied SIRE being able to testify at the upcoming motions hearing, right, on April 9th. And he said something like, they could be available on standby via Zoom or whatever, but basically this is the reason the defense is unleashing this, right? And they did this on purpose with the, strategic timing of it all, timing advance. And it's like, all right, well, just in case he can't testify, like, here we go, right? Okay, so I reviewed the disclosures in reference to SA balances, interpretations, and opinions relating to AT&T call detail records. They are vague and at times contradictory. At this time, I'm unable to identify his methodologies. Oh my God, there's that word. And or resulting opinions on most of his work, preventing me from any real analysis to determine the basis of his opinions. Interesting. The disclosures in reference to the facts and data relied on by SA balances to form, okay, should not have an apostrophe S, by SA balance to form his opinions regarding AT&T call detail records. Says cell detail, it should be call detail. Oh God. Okay, don't let the typos and issues derail this. All right, are conflicting and void of substance. His work does not contain his methodology other than a paragraph. He does not mention AT&T, handoff data, drive test mapping, or any other critical methodology required in this analysis. Twiz, don't make me yell at you live on the live stream here. The report does not provide explanation as to why SA balance may or may not rely on AT&T data, preventing me from any real analysis of his opinion. I regularly work as a subject matter expert, and it is standard in my field for experts' opinions to be well documented and based on accepted best practice or methodology. The facts and data relied upon to reach an opinion are known and disclosed. SA Balance's work is a departure from the field standard. Ruh-roh. He has not disclosed his methodology and analysis for his opinions. A, this is partially due to contradicting methodologies that have been disclosed. Interesting. B, this is partially due to vague work product absent of any real substance as to facts and data. C, this is partially due to changes that evolved through iterations of work product without explanation and documented by facts and data as a basis. Number 9, I did note that SA Balance has a dual role in this case. He's an expert witness for the state and using these same skills was involved in the actual investigation from the onset. He was co-located with investigators throughout the investigation. Boy, we know about that. His opinions and interpretations were relied on by investigators and prosecutors. These interpretations and opinions found their way into every probable cause statement supporting search warrants against the affidavit. He is referenced in nearly every search warrant used. His opinions and interpretations were an integral piece of building probable cause against the defendant. Unfortunately, most of his opinions and interpretations provided to investigators and prosecutors are not supported by the evidence in this case. Y'all, it is this very reason I was awaiting SA Balance's report detailing the facts, data, methodology, and analysis relied on to make such egregious errors. I expected to see work that explained the conclusions, as well as properly addressing omitted analysis and errors in the work. The omitted work in this case is exculpatory to Mr. Kohberger. Who the fuck is Adam? The intentional omission of exculpatory evidence. Now, if you're going to make a statement like this in bold, it would be great if it was a complete sentence. It should probably say this. Anyway. So SA Balance did not include analysis of AT&T handoff data provided by Durable for life, of course. AT&T handoff data provided by AT&T for the defendant's mobile device on November 13th, 2022, between the hours of 2:30 a.m. and 3 a.m. Oh, right. Yes. And that is like what? The most important thing of all of this, right? Dude. You know, which direction was the vehicle facing? All kinds of things. Wow. The handoff data in the defendant's AT&T records during this time is exculpatory to the defendant. SA Balance did not include analysis of AT&T data regarding 23 time periods in his report. That he appears to be suggesting the defendant was at or very near the crime scene. A, this opinion appears to be based off cell tower connections, primarily handoff connections in the defendant's AT&T records. B, it is difficult to determine the process or methodology SA Balance relied on to suggest this connection for several reasons because the AT&T records do not support the statement. C, there is no report or analysis detailing the defendant's movements between June 2022 and December of 2022, which would be needed to surmise the defendant's phone was at or near the crime scene 23 times prior to the homicides. 23 times. Interesting. I think that that's news to me. And again, we haven't gone through all of the most recent filings, but I mean, you know, that's more times, I guess the state is going to allege more times than what we initially had thought, right? 1, there's no mapping showing the network connections relied upon. 2, are no drive test coverage maps of the other, okay, supposed to say other than of the one cell site. I'll correct that. So let me just say something here. So it's been kind of unclear up to this point as to what they have, the defense, right? And the state really, but I guess, you know, what the defense has. And so being that we're past, you know, the whole thing of like what was in the PCA and like what did they know at the time? And, you know, we're past all that, right? So again, this now at this point is current. This is he's talking about Nick Balance's expert witness report, right? Which is his basis and everything he's going to be testifying to at trial. Okay. And as we know, they have more information, right? Like, for example, when the PCA was submitted and everything, right? Obviously, there's more things. So the point being that everything he's talking about here now is talking about what they still don't have, right? Like what still is a problem. Like, so this is surprising. Like for example, right? His report that he's going to be testifying, you know, at trial, right? Of what he's going to say. It says that it does not detail the movements between June 2022 and December 2022. And that the state, I guess, is still hoping to suggest that Bryan Kohberger was at or near the crime scene 23 times prior to the homicide. So like this is a lot. Let me just see what you guys are saying in the chat. Kane's asking a question. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be sarcastic. Then why are they fighting the DP so strongly, Rookie? I don't know what you mean by that. Yes. And also I will say, so we've talked about this a little bit before, that the standard in New Mexico is a little bit different. Well, the rules there specific to New Mexico treat Brady violations and exculpatory evidence a little bit differently, but that only matters as it pertains to if it's being revealed or if it comes out during trial. So pre-trial, I'm not as sure, but like, I know that is one thing to consider. However, that doesn't mean that it's not as big of a deal, right? So yes. And then who the fuck is Adam? I still don't know who Adam is. What else was I going to say about that? Oh yes. Also Judge Summer was awesome. And I would only hope that Judge Hippler, you know, and for any case, right, that judges would do the same. I mean, we have seen Judge Bev not do the right thing. Right. We're going to see what else comes of this, right? I mean, I would expect like, okay, let me back up. So I'm working through this in my head, right? So Cy Ray can't allege Brady violations, right? That has to come from the attorneys. He can say exculpatory evidence is withheld, and we all know what that means, right? So I would expect potentially follow-up, right, from the defense for Brady violations. Now, here's the thing. We've seen this in other filings where they mention the Brady violations. However, potentially these issues with the cell phone data, which could be the biggest thing, right, in terms of withheld exculpatory evidence, hasn't really been the basis in terms of anything specific for anything that they've cited thus far. So, but the reason that potentially that could be is because in order to really, like, okay, for the defense, where you would really want to hit this one hard for Brady violations, specific to just this issue with the AT&T time advance reports, you would need to have all of the information, right? Now, here's the thing. We know because of the scheduling, right, that all these expert witness disclosures were just getting turned over, right? So, because again, there's still even filings, you know, like for example, just these recent filings, motion to eliminate for it's vague and undisclosed expert testimony. And we saw Nick Balance was mentioned there, right? So in other words, it's like, once the state has submitted all their shit, especially as it pertains to what the experts are going to testify to at trial, then it's like the defense at that juncture now has the full picture of what the state has and what they expect the opinions to be. And they also have the reports and everything. So I guess what I'm saying is that I feel like the time is drawing near where we will see some other filings from the defense, right? Now, oh man, this is really exciting because okay, let's keep reading and we'll talk more about it because there's a lot of different things that could result from this, right? You know, cheering for sanctions, right? Which can be a lot of different things. So, okay. Right? Yes, good point. Nobody wants to die. Right. If he had not waived his, or if he, if he'd not waived his right to speedy trial, that's a good question. I mean, it's really kind of impossible because there was just no way that that could have happened, right? I mean, that's sort of the thing, and that's why the defense filed so much about it because of the fact that, like, like the 6 months, right, for speedy trial is the same whether it's a death penalty case or not a death penalty case. And I totally agree with what the defense said, which is basically if it's a death penalty case, that should be longer. Like that's because essentially 6 months, like there's no way it would be like ineffective assistance of counsel, right? Because there's just no way they can prepare. Because remember, they have to have everything ready for both phases should it get that far. So what I will say is that it really hamstrings them to where they have to waive it. And anyway, I hope that there's changes to that in the future where death penalty cases, that speedy trial clock needs to be longer. I would say probably a year is fair if you were to put it into like relative to, because 6 months, right? That's the same regardless of the charges, right? So even if it's not even a murder case, it's 6 months. But then you have a death penalty case for a quadruple homicide and it's 6 months. So, James, what are you referencing here? The prosecution of shit show that's nasty. What are you talking about, James? Twiz, why are you not coming on, dude? I'm Twiz. I gave him a permanent thing where he's now like a permanent co-host and can pop on anytime. And he's not asleep like he complained about earlier. I'm curious though what James is referencing here. Okay. Well, you can Twiz. I'm reading because you're not on. Okay. Like pop on and then we can take turns reading or whatever. Sky's the limit. Chelsea's, that's what he says to me. He's saying to me, can we just learn guitar and fuck this case? I mean, guitar is easy. I can teach y'all guitar. Anybody that has a guitar, totally, we can do that. But we're not going to say fuck this case. But I'm curious what you're talking about, though, for the prosecution earlier there. Dude, you need to come on then. You don't have to read. Just come on anyway. I can read it. You can do whatever. I said it. I don't know what that's in reference to. I don't know what that doesn't sound like something I would say. Maybe unless I said they don't have shit to show for any, I don't know. I don't know. Or unless I said it's a shit show, I have no idea. Does anybody know? Okay. So while we're figuring things out about Twiz, who's hyped up and wants to scream, and James, who wants to learn guitar, he doesn't have to show his face. Besides, the thing is too, right? When you're reading documents, having a camera on is really silly in my opinion, because it just blocks part of the document and people want to be able to see it. All right, so okay. There is no mapping to show the network connections relied upon. There are no drive test coverage maps of the other, other than the one cell site. I was correcting that. A recent disclosure about what SA balance may testify to reads, quote, and it's in italics, handoffs are mapped on a case-by-case basis, which is determined by the needs of the investigation, end quote. From my experience as a subject matter expert in this field, this claim is outside of any established best practice or reliable methodology of analysis. The standard is that all data must be analyzed and considered regardless of how it impacts the investigation. You can see why this matters, right? Because it's like, if the investigation is like, okay, we're going to just do this, we're only going to do it this one way because we're trying to prove our theory of the case, which is not how it's supposed to work, right? Then you would ignore other, important information. That's hilarious. Official says, we just want to stare and get lost into your beauty. I mean, if Twiz wants to have his camera on, he can. All right. I'm not going to say, I'm just saying, whatever, like I said earlier, whatever it takes, right? I reviewed the disclosures about SA balance and will testify to, and do not find the disclosures provide further analysis to support his opinions. And then again in quotes. So we are getting some of his opinions here, which is awesome. The first cell site recorded in this session is the only cell site that is chosen based on the measurements made by the cell phone, representing the best signal from these measurements and rate. Hold on, that's a confused. Let me read that again. The first cell site recorded in this session is the only cell site that is chosen based on measurements made by the cell phone, representing the best signal from these measurements and ranking of surrounding cell sites. But Twiz only has eyes for gain. Also, Rhett. That's funny. Okay. So this theory can be disproven with the AT&T records themselves. This response does not explain why he would use handoff data at certain times while ignoring it at other times. Nope, sure doesn't. Okay, again in quotes, we're getting more of Nick Balance's. This is in his report, guys. The coverage maps are created using the actual measurements taken by the GAR. Twiz, what's GAR? And interpolation using the natural neighbor algorithm. In other words, it's looking at known values at known locations to determine the expected value at a location where a measurement couldn't have been taken. The natural neighbor algorithm was first published by Robin Simpson in 1981 and is widely accepted in both academia and as an industry standard in determining the coverage of a particular cell site within a broader cellular network. Welcome, DB. Thank you. Thank you. People were still saying, oh, Gladiator. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So Twiz is still not popping on. So, okay. This statement falls well short of any real disclosure of how the GAR, we'll just call it Gladiator, Gladiator product estimates cell site coverage areas. I've been in direct contact with Gladiator Forensics, and the statement contradicts what Gladiator Forensic communicated to me about their own products. A recent disclosure states, quote, page 13 depicts cellular phone usage by the 8458 phone on November 13th, 2022, and Balance is expected to testify that when the 8458 phone interacted with the AT&T network at 2:47:29 a.m., the phone was not at the Bryan Kohberger residence, marked BK on the map. Rather, it was southeast of the Bryan Kohberger residence as depicted by the drive test data. (2:47:29 a.m.) Balance is also expected to testify that he analyzed additional handoff data that occurred during this data session and that the 8458 phone stopped communicating with the network at 2:54:45. Let me pull up my master list then. Hang on. So put it on the phone. Okay, so this is what it said. This is what we had previously. Utilized cellular resources that provide coverage southeast of the Kohberger residence, consistent with leaving the residence. Right. And traveling. Okay. That's what we had, leaving the residence. Okay. So now, I wonder if the leaving the residence was them trying to get around it, because leaving could imply he was like, you know, not quite at the you know what I mean? It's weasel. It's weasel languaging. It's weasel languaging. Weaseling. Y'all can do weasel in the chat if you want. Great question from Official. Don't all cars have black boxes? Why can't they trace his whereabouts? Okay, I can answer that. So it depends on the vehicle, okay? But for some vehicles, the basic telemetry, which is what you're referencing in the black box there, might just be the car stopping and starting. Startups. We learned that, we talked about this a lot with Murdaugh, because that was all they had until GM came in mid-trial and was like, here you go. Because, for example, like with that, in that case, right, the location data, right, as well as other things, all the good shit, as I always call it, was in the OnStar system, right, which is completely separate from the from like what the black box would have, which is the telemetry. And all the telemetry had was the car basically in and out of park, was it. That's all it was, right? Versus, you know, the OnStar data didn't just have location data, it had the speed, it had all kinds of shit. So, so if the vehicle doesn't have the extra fancy shit or whatever, right? I mean, it doesn't have to just be OnStar. There's different brands depending on the make of the car. But if it doesn't have that, then they wouldn't have it. Now, I've done research, and I know others have too, into the Elantras at that time, the 2015 Elantra. And apparently, yay, Twiz is here. You can get the regular, and now he's gone. Where did you go? Apparently, like the base model would not have anything like on par with an OnStar. I forget what they call it. Hyundai has their own name for it, but the upgrade model would have had it. So you better believe if that had been if he had the upgraded model, we would have definitely seen, there would have been talk about that. So okay, Twiz, are you here? Are you here?
No.
He's not here. Yay! Finally, yay!
Do you even understand how much bullshit I just had to go through for you for this?
What do you mean?
I just had to do a lot of bullshit to get here.
What bullshit did you? Oh, to get onto the thing. How was it difficult?
No.
We're glad you're here. Yay! Yay!
It just took a while.
That's what she said. Did it?
Not with me, because I only take 22 seconds.
Hold on. Was it something that couldn't be done in where is it? In 2 minutes?
Your Honor, I can't do this in 2 minutes.
Those are rookie numbers.
Everybody's really happy. Yay! Yay, Twiz! Yay! Kane says, I knew this show was going to suck. That's hilarious. And Official saying that he doesn't have to make up a voice. I believe, Twiz, you can also pull comments up if you feel so inclined. I do believe you can. I believe you can do all kinds of things. So, yay! Hopefully now that you've done it, it's not going to be that big of a deal, and you can pop on. It'll be easy, and it won't be bullshit for you next time.
I pop out chat from YouTube and put it over StreamYard's window.
Okay.
Because I'm smart.
Well, then you could not do that, and then you could, if you want to be able to pull up comments, right?
What do you mean? I can see chat.
No, but you should be able to, through StreamYard, pull comments up on the screen like I do, and everybody does, right? That's what I believe you should be able to.
Oh, I never do that, but I probably could. I don't know.
Well, do you want to try it out?
Am I like a co-owner of chat?
Yeah, you have all these rights now. You have all these constitutional rights.
Oh my God, I've only just been a guest.
No, see, this is what I'm saying.
This is like a whole new world.
A whole new world. It's a whole new world. There, he did. That was Twiz. That wasn't me. Yeah.
Whoa.
There you go. See, I think you can also create banners. Like, I think you can do all kinds of stuff. So isn't that exciting? I bet you can even click on like the media assets where I pull up the overlays and the other little clips. I bet you can pull that shit up too.
I can.
Woo! That's awesome. You're gonna see how much shit I have. I have so much. There's so much stuff.
I can just like moderate your whole stream from behind the scenes.
You really can.
I could be like a producer right now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. I mean, literally, the thing that you have is it's co-host status, yo.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Everybody's really super excited, which is, I mean, Kane says, you have no idea how long 22 seconds is.
You really don't. You really don't.
Will we be dancing? Oh, I'm dancing right now. I'm dancing right now. Officials saying, hey, Chelsea, maybe in the near future, you can dig in further to the research for an AI that will be able to generate a profile sketch based on genetics to identify a current. That sounds way out of my wheelhouse, but you know, I do tend to delve, as it were. So I can't rule it out. Okay, so Twiz, do you want to read? Where were we here?
No, I don't want to read.
Okay.
I already said that.
All right. Okay. I'm just you people change.
I have to figure out how to mute tabs on Chrome on my laptop. So
okay.
I have to Google stuff while you're reading.
Gotcha. Shouldn't be that hard to do, but yes, that's fine. I'm going to keep reading, but you can still stay here with your microphone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Sounds good. All right. Well, we will carry on. All right. A recent disclosure states, quote, page 13. Oh, yes, this is where we were. Right. Because what I was saying is it was like weasel languaging, right? Because they're saying like, you know, that he was like, as per the master list, right? This is what they had said before, that he was like leaving the residence, right? So that is, you know, you guys see why they say that, because basically it's trying to have this plausible deniability, because basically here it says the phone was not at the residence, right? Rather, it was southeast of the residence as depicted by the drive test data. Balance is also expected to testify that he analyzed additional handoff data that occurred during this data session and that the 8458 phone stopped communicating with the network at 2:54:45. Yes. Carla Google stuff too. Welcome back, Sudi. Love it. Happy to see you again. Make me a bike clown. I don't know what that means. Never. James has still been playing Never Have I Ever since that members only, which is really funny. And it seems like it's always stuff that he knows will make me lose points, which is really funny too. All right. This disclosure does not provide an analysis or opinion as to what SA Balance found when he analyzed the additional handoff data that occurred during this data session. This is the very data I previously testified about having been omitted from SA Balance's work, product, and opinions. Number 15, SA Balance conducted a significant amount of drive test data, has not provided that data to support his work. He's missing the word and, that's okay. And has not provided that data to support his work. He's not showing his work, guys. You know how we feel about that. Drive test data is collected when an investigator takes radio frequency survey equipment out into the field and collects signal measurement of the cellular network. By driving specific grid patterns through an area, it is possible to capture enough data to reliably estimate a cell site's coverage area, which is really what we see when we take a look at those AT&T maps, as we've done billions of times.
I have to restart Chrome, so it'll probably kick me out, but I'll be back.
Okay, he'll be back. Guys, you heard it here first. Mitchell says, take it off. It's getting hot in here. Y'all are so fucking funny. It's because I also have the most points. Got it. Got it. That's funny. I don't know who Willie is, nor Adam, nor do I know Adam. In this case, SA Balance and SA Kennedy spent, or okay, I'm sure it's supposed to say Kennedy, but it says Kennedy. Spent several days conducting drive tests in and around Pullman and Moscow. In all, hello, welcome. We have a new friend. Love it. Love that you're a metalhead. I also love metal. So welcome to the squirrel crew, and Twiz is back. Smexcellent. Wonderful. All right. You with us? Good. Very good. Very, very good. So we are welcoming in Scott Metalhead.
Ooh, Scotty.
I was wondering if you knew each other because, you know, very good. So, okay. In all, they collected well over 500,000 data points. Each data points to effectively, enough data points to effectively map the coverage areas of all relevant cell sites related to this case, that being roughly 24 cell sectors. SA Balance has only produced coverage mapping for 4 sectors. Okay, interesting. My brain is thinking, because we were talking about these cell towers earlier, Twiz and I were, and like, this is very interesting stuff. Because it matters. D, SA Balance has collected the required data and does have access to the required software to map all the sectors he analyzed in his drive test efforts. The conversion of raw data to a coverage image is relatively non-existent when compared to the effort required to collect the raw data. SA Balance, in accordance with FBI CAST policy, had his work product peer-reviewed, in scare quotes, love it, by another FBI CAST agent, S.A. Kennedy. Okay, so it's spelled correctly here. So I was right. It is Kennedy, not Kennedy. All right. There are official reports stating S.A. Kennedy did peer review SA Balance's work product and signed off as it being complete and accurate. Twiz, let me know if you want to read any, okay? Okay. Oh, I think he muted his.
I will, but I won't.
Okay. Oh, classic George will stick. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Okay. So it says, so this is from his, this is, I guess this is Sai speaking for himself. Okay. So it says, I created the first subject matter expert certification course. Right. Okay. This is Sai speaking for himself. Course in the United States in this field for state and local law enforcement. I have taught this course for over a decade, certifying over 100 subject matter experts in this field. Part of that course includes the peer review process. The standards in this field dictate the data must support a peer review. I have personally completed well over 50 peer reviews myself. The state has not disclosed the required data to support a peer review of SA Balance's work. What do I have? No idea. Official says asking for a friend. Does it count if it only went in halfway or no? Does he get his V card revoked? Y'all, you're gonna have to help me weigh in on this one. Asking for a friend. If it only goes in halfway, just the tip. It's a just the tip situation, right? For whatever reason, Twiz is commenting in the chat versus voice, but you know, just the tip.
I just messaged Denise that Bryan will be free soon.
Good. What do you think, Twiz? Just the tip? Does that count or no?
I don't know. It's a good question. It's hard to tell with dudes. Like with chicks, you know, the hymen's broke, but dudes, I don't know.
He didn't go all in, so I don't know. I would probably go no on that one.
I mean, do you ever go all the way in?
That probably depends on various different factors.
Like that'd be really hard to go all the way in. Most of the way in? I don't know.
If nobody ever goes all the way in, then yeah, that would make a difference.
If it just gets a little wet, it probably counts.
Okay, well, that's very generous of you, Twiz. Just the tip that they had to stop. You know, this is why people come here, right? Because we're reading court documents, we're talking about important cases, we're breaking down legal terminology, but also when people have questions about what counts, right? Just the tip, is that enough? We can answer that for you, right? So
if Heather was here, we could get a more definitive answer. She probably wouldn't agree with me, but
This is really funny. I'm just reading what y'all are saying. Victorine says no, doesn't count. Love it. This is the yeah, it's you know, things
Meg,
got
you
spicy.
have 2 kids. What are you puking about?
DB's getting pizza. That is amazing. What does that even mean, Kane? 2 hours of watching someone try. I don't know what that means. Yeah, where's Heather, by the way? We love Heather.
Because Kane's always trying to get his panel to work.
Oh, that's fucking funny. I see what he said. I get it. Okay. That's funny. DB's saying I don't have a tip. I'm all bass. All about that bass. That is amazing. Oh my gosh. He's add her to the mix. Well, we don't know where she is, but love you, Heather. Love you, Heather. Okay, so that's it. So that's the end of this one, guys. So on to the next. Here we go. The big one. The big one. Y'all ready? All right. Timing advanced records. Yeah, no trouble. Yeah. No trouble. Although trouble's the best of the clefs, but let's not go there at this juncture. Okay, so right. Basically that we get it. Let's get to the good part. So actually, hold on. Sorry, I'm changing my mind because I mentioned this earlier, right? Judge Hippler brought this upon himself in a way, right? Because this is being filed pursuant to the order denying witness testimony at the April 9th hearing, right? Okay, I mentioned that earlier.
Oh, Sai's showing up. I told everybody this. I'm like, Sai's still gonna be there. Oh God.
Coming all the way from Arizona. Maricopa County. I mean, if he stays put in Arizona, though, he could be watching the Lori Vallow. He could go and attend the Lori Vallow trial. I mean, I don't know. That's going to be such a shit show. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one, right? Maybe worth staying there. All right. So I'm an adult. Good. Okay. I've been working in the field of call detail record analysis for 25 years, over 25 years. I became a certified police officer in the state of Arizona in 1996. I think this is a question for you, Twiz. I'm pulling that on the screen. Oops. I worked with my first set of AT&T records in, 1997. It's too small. Let's make it bigger.
That's what she said.
Thank you. I spent nearly 20 years in law enforcement in the primary role of a detective. Do you want to answer official's question, Twiz?
What is it? How many years does 18 hold records for now? I forgot. It was last time check. It depends on what kind of record you're talking about. But I think for CDR records, it's like 7 years.
That rings a bell. What? Unless it's like,
But after reading this today, we really don't even know because there are different, like, hidden behind the closed doors things that apparently hold data longer than others. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Officially 7 years for CDR records, I think.
Thank you, Twiz. Excellent. Okay, I spent nearly 20 years in law enforcement in the primary role of a detective. I have worked hundreds of death investigations and consulted on over 1,000 homicide cases in my career. That's a lot. In my role as a detective, I gained extensive experience utilizing CDRs and exploiting cellular networks for investigative-related purposes. In 2014, I retired from law enforcement and started a business called ZetX that created software for law enforcement to map and analyze the CDRs. As part of that business, we maintained software that supported every known CDR provided to law enforcement in the United States. That's epic. To date, the system has analyzed over 3 billion calls from call detail records provided by cellular phone companies in the U.S. In 2021, LexisNexis, not to be confused with LexisNexis in terms of where you can find court filings, because that's spelled with a U, different LexisNexis, but it is funny that there's more than one, right? Like, of all things. Purchased ZetX, and to date is still using and selling the software I created. As a result of this experience, I worked directly with engineers at the cellular phone companies for over 2 decades, and I'm intimately familiar. How intimately familiar are you with the type of data they maintain in the normal course of business records exception, and provide to law enforcement through a legal demand process, such as the GLDC shit, right? In addition to my law enforcement experience, I've instructed classes on utilizing cellular records in criminal investigations for nearly 20 years. I have had over 30,000 law enforcement officers attend these courses and or presentations on this subject matter. In 2014, I created the first geolocation cellular investigation subject matter expert course in this field, offered to state and local law enforcement officers. As a result of this work, I have established well-known and used best practices within the discipline of call CDR analysis, right? Over 1,000 law enforcement agencies have attended my courses on the subject matter of cellular record analysis to include the FBI, ATF, U.S. Marshals, DEA, and DHS. All of the alphabet soup people. We don't have a sound bite for all of them. However, we do have this one.
The FBI!
So there you go. Okay. Through my work in this discipline, I am regularly consulted by the prosecution on investigations around the world. As a recognized subject matter expert in this field, I have testified on the matter more than 100 times throughout the United States in both federal and state courts. So very, very, very qualified as an expert, right? Apart from this case, all my testimony in this field has been on behalf of the prosecution. It is only in rare cases and circumstances I've ever considered working on the side of defense. And I think that just, I said this when we first heard from him the first time, right? I said this, literally. I said, and it needs some Z's if you're listening. I specifically remember Need Some Z's was there when we covered this hearing. I think we covered it live when Cyre came and testified. And he said this. And I was like, oh my God, that is going to bode really well for the defense, right? Because guess what? The jury's going to be like, wow, you know what I mean? It shows, it just shows. It shows a lot of things, right? You guys know, so I don't tell you. But yes. So I've worked extensively with timing advanced data from the cellular phone network providers over the past 15 years. I've testified to the use of timing advanced data numerous times. I have created and taught hundreds of classes on this subject matter to law enforcement. I'm extremely familiar with the type of timing advanced records available from U.S. cellular providers, their retention periods, there we go, and the legal process to obtain those records. Timing advance, alrighty. Timing advance records are maintained by cellular network providers that provide a time measurement. This time measurement refers to the amount of time it takes a radio signal to travel from a cell site to a mobile device and back to the cell site. Given this signal travels at a known constant, the speed of light, the speed of light, like the song. Okay. It is possible to use the measurement to determine the distance the mobile device is from a known cell site. Okay. Okay. When multiple cell sites record time advanced data in short periods of time, it is possible to use trilateration to determine the location of a mobile device. The use of timing advanced data in this manner is one of the most accurate ways for law enforcement to locate a mobile device. Given these records are available in a historical context, it is possible to conduct an analysis of timing advanced data to pinpoint historical locations of a mobile device at a given date and time. It is also possible to determine routes of travel, stagnation, and when a mobile device is powered on and off. Bam! All right. Can also be done through Cellbrite, but anyway. Okay. As a result of its accuracy, requesting timing advanced data has become a standard practice for all law enforcement in the United States and is regularly requested through legal process relating to a criminal investigation. Okay. AT&T time advance. Here we go, guys. All right. In August of 2021, I was approached by an FBI.
I want you to, can you go back up just a second?
Yes. Your wish is my
command. At the end of 3, it says when a mobile device is powered on or off. Okay, so at 2:54, a phone call ends. People are claiming that the cell phone is powered off, right? But the timing data would show later on, even if he wasn't on a phone call or texting anybody. And that's how they could prove it.
Right. They could prove they could use it to prove that it was on. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is that I was looking at the thing where they mentioned Lewiston in the PCA, and from there they do mention that there is still cell coverage. And actually Twiz drove it the other day, apparently, right? Twiz?
Sure did.
Yeah. So, and you had coverage, so
it might have been different back then though.
That's true.
That's the weird thing, because even in well, again, I think they're just going off the CDR data, but they made it sound like he could have gone to the park after the crimes when it
Mhm.
went back to Lewiston too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. That's true.
But go on, continue reading.
And I just wanted to say for the record, so when you're referencing the phone call, right? Can you explain to people who maybe aren't sure, because that we haven't seen anything about that in the court filings. So do you want
Yeah.
to?
It doesn't say there's a phone call, but it says a record starts at 2:47 in whatever seconds, and then it ends at 2:54 in whatever seconds. That wouldn't happen with a text message, because that would just be like one time. Your text is sent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only other thing it could be is a phone call.
It says that it's, hold on. I just assumed it was like pinging a tower, but it says something like it's consistent throughout the entire time period. Is that what you're saying, Twiz?
With what?
Like that it's that duration, something is happening continuously?
Yeah, it says something like the phone reports to the network at 2:47 or something, and then stops at 2:54.
Okay. Yeah, I interpreted that as just pinging a tower, but
Yeah, because he's on a phone call.
okay. Well, I will just say that, it is, the phones will ping, right? Regardless, that's what they do. They ping to.
Yeah, but the CDRs don't record it.
Right. Okay.
They only record it when you're on phone calls or texting.
Right. Okay. So let me just clarify that. So that what Twiz is saying is that because of the fact that they're able to, in the PCA, right, that they were able to give those times, that they were relying only on the CDRs, which means it had to be because of a phone call. That makes sense. That makes sense because they didn't have anything else. So in other words, while it's true that phones will just be pinging, right, even if you're not using them, they didn't have that information. So in order for them to give those times of it connecting to a tower, then it had to be in use for a phone call. Okay. Do you agree, Twiz, with that?
Yeah, that's
okay,
pretty
cool.
good.
Welcome, Super Planner Girl. She says, or a butt dial. Love it. Thank you for that one, Amanda. Excellent. Okay. So very good. All right. We'll keep. Do you want to read it all, Twiz? You don't have to.
Nope.
Okay. I will carry on. All right. In August of 2021, I was approached by an FBI special agent to assist in analyzing a type of record set identified as AT&T Time Advance Report, and it was the first time I was made aware of this type of data from AT&T. Upon request, I can provide the date, time, location, and FBI agent I assisted with the record set. As of the year 2021, AT&T had not officially released a timing advance report to law enforcement. Therefore, the ZX software program did not yet support AT&T timing advance records. As a result of this interaction with the FBI, I obtained a copy of the timing advance report from the special agent and forwarded it to our software engineers to write code within the ZX system to support future uploads of this timing advance report format. The next day, I was informed by the special agent the AT&T timing advance report was not supposed to be released or viewed outside of the FBI, that individual requested I return the report and not have any. Let me read this again. The next day of what? Let's just get this timeline here.
So like the FBI agent sent him a timing advance report. He was going to program it into ZX, the tracks program. And then the next day, the special agent said, hold the phone. You can't do that.
But this is still in 2021, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I just wanted to make sure that we're still in the same year. Okay. The next day I was informed by special agent the AT&T time advance report was not supposed to be released or viewed outside the FBI, and that the individual requested I return the report and not have any software developed to support the data they had shown to me. I did return the report, however, due to the interaction explained here, there is a paper trail documenting the facts of this interaction. Okay. I have firsthand knowledge that AT&T was providing the FBI with time advance reports prior to August of 2021. Interesting. Okay. Now we get to the legal demands, the GLDC and whatnot, right? Okay. So during my career working with call detail records from every cellular provider in the United States, I've been involved with thousands of cases in which call detail records are obtained from these companies, leading the way in the establishment of best practices within this field of investigation. I wrote and provided custom search warrants for every provider and distributed them to thousands of law enforcement officers in the US, assisting them in the legal process of obtaining the vast and ever-growing amount of data sets offered by cellular providers. And Super Planner Girl must be on her computer because she's a new member. Yay! Congrats! Love it, love it. I've worked with the AT&T Global Legal Demand Center for over 15 years. I have firsthand knowledge that the AT&T GLDC is one way, not the only way, for law enforcement to obtain call detail records from AT&T, not the AT&T, from AT&T. I have firsthand knowledge that there is another way to obtain call detail records from AT&T without going through GLDC. Over the course of many years, AT&T has had several different programs in partnership with federal law enforcement, primarily the FBI.
The FBI!
That allowed for call detail records to be disseminated to the FBI.
The FBI!
Last time, I promise. Without going through the standard GLDC process. The first AT&T timing report I was presented and had a chance to review and become familiar with in August of 2021 was obtained through AT&T through one of these programs, not through GLDC. I have been involved in numerous investigations where AT&T call detail records were obtained through these AT&T programs outside of GLDC. I have firsthand knowledge and experience in working with individuals at AT&T associated with these other programs. I love that everybody's welcoming Amanda and congratulating her for being a member. That is amazing. Love it. One such individual is Boyd Jackson. Mr. Jackson is a program director at AT&T who manages one of the programs, many programs I am referencing. Mr. Jackson. Sorry, Mr. Jackson. Woo! I am for real. Okay. Is the primary contact for the FBI when requesting records outside of the standard GLDC process. All right. So now we have GLDC disseminating timing advance reports. I need to get my goat ready for when it mentions Miss Jennings. The state is correct in their claim that AT&T GLDC had, wait, where am I? The state, right, okay, did not provide law enforcement with AT&T timing advance reports until May of 2023. As a matter of fact, in May of 2023, the working group known as the GLDC had only begun their storage of timing advance records. The first official release of AT&T timing advance data was not provided to law enforcement until June 15th, 2023 by GLDC. In 2022, the FBI obtained AT&T timing advance records from another source outside of GLDC. And now here we go. The piece de resistance, as they say. AT&T timing advance records in the state's possession. During this investigation, law enforcement obtained the following AT&T timing advance data. A, 2 of the victims had AT&T phones. Law enforcement obtained AT&T timing data on both of their phones. B, law enforcement developed an early investigative lead in this case. That person had an AT&T phone at the time of the crime. Law enforcement obtained his AT&T time. So this matters, right? So in other words, it's like, look, they thought this dude did something, right? He was an investigative lead, right? They got that person's timing advance data, no problemo, right? C, law enforcement also requested a tower dump consisting of AT&T timing advance data. This request involved AT&T providing all of the connections between 2 specific cell sites in Moscow during a 2-hour period. The data produced was AT&T timing advance data. So that's that was the geofencing, right? So even during the geofencing, they produced the AT&T timing advance data. Now, noteworthy here, I will say, we talked a lot about this previously, right? We talked a lot about this previously because it was kind of unclear. It looked like, okay, they had checked the boxes for Nilos, right, on that warrant. And the thing that is substantial here, right, is that the data they got, right, of course, from that geofencing, that weird looking highlight there, of course, did not show Bryan Kohberger, right? So, but also interesting of note here is that it did provide the AT&T timing advance data. So, like, look at this, 3,800 AT&T mobile phones. So what this is saying, obviously, right, is that for over 3,800 AT&T mobile phones, they were able to get the AT&T time advance data. So yeah, so 3,800 AT&T mobile phones identified in the time advance tower dump data. Welcome back, Angel D. Happy to see you again. The AT&T timing advance data was obtained by the FBI using an internal source at AT&T. Mr. Boyd Jackson, who is not associated with the BL. Okay, that's a comma there. Just it's hard to see that. I'll read it again with the comma. The AT&T timing advance data was obtained by the FBI using an internal source at the AT&T, Mr. Boyd Jackson, who is not associated with the GLDC working group. GLDC was not used to obtain this data. So again, they didn't have to go because why does this matter, right? For, you guys are probably aware, but just to recap it, right? With these filings back and forth, what the state has said is like, look, we couldn't get it. We couldn't provide it because it has to go through the GLDC. And like, this is when it was available. And so the point being, look, y'all were able to get, y'all being the state, this is me being the defense talking to the state. Y'all were able to get this timing advance data for like fucking everybody else. Did not come from the GLDC. You were able to get it, but this is the one exception, right? The one exception. You had to go through supposedly the GLDC to get Mr. Kohberger's time advance data. Okay. Number 4, a forensic examination of the AT&T time advance records in the state's possession show Mr. Jackson's association with the reports. Okay, number 5, there's work product in the state's possession created by the FBI showing the AT&T time advance data was not only obtained, but regularly referenced and used in the course of this investigation. Its existence is well known to the investigators and prosecutors. Now we get to the chain of custody where I've got my goat ready. Meg, especially for you, anybody that hates the goat, just beware, we may have some goating. The state has provided a certificate of authenticity to the defense in relation to the time advance records described above. The COA was created in April of 2024 and issued by the director of the GLDC, Stephen Gordon. I've previously worked with and I am familiar with Mr. Gordon. The COA specifically states, and this is in italics, I am qualified to authenticate the records attached hereto because I'm familiar with how the records were created, managed, stored, and retrieved. Number 4, I have personal knowledge that in the event Mr. Gordon was required to testify, he would clarify that prior to May of 2023, neither he nor the AT&T GLDC working group was involved with AT&T timing advance records. Bam. There you go. Additionally, there is forensic evidence contained within the records that indicate they were not produced by AT&T GLDC, nor were they produced in the year of 2024. Yeah. Additionally, there is forensic evidence contained within the records that indicate they were not produced by AT&T GLDC, nor were they produced in the year 2024. In reviewing this data, I contacted and communicated with Mr. Gordon to clarify the chain of custody related to these records. Mr. Gordon and an AT&T legal representee informed me that Mr. Gordon would not be the individual to certify these records if required to do so, despite issuing the COA. In my review of this information, there's evidence to suggest the chain of custody involving these records in COA were produced well outside of AT&T's normal practice. There is missing information and data associated with this request. The prosecution's prior claims that AT&T time advance data did not exist in 2022 further complicates this issue. It is my expert opinion that any testimony proffered on behalf of the FBI or AT&T on this matter would clearly reveal these issues. Evidence in direct contradiction to the state's motion. In my review of this investigation, I have read numerous emails sent and received by law enforcement pertaining to their investigation. One such email dated 11/15/2022 was sent to Prosecutor Ashley Jennings at her Latah County government email address. This email is from Moscow Detective Lawrence Mallory. The email is informing Ms. Jennings of Detective Mallory's recent contact with SA Balance. SA Balance informed Detective Mallory that AT&T can provide time advance data and to make sure it is listed in the search warrant. Detective Mallory is specifically asking Prosecutor Jennings to make sure the AT&T timing data is listed in the warrant prior to the report ever being distributed by the working group known as the GLDC. So we covered this before, right? We're like, literally, it's clear from the defense filing that they're like blaming Jennings on a lot of this, right? As they should. So here we go. Further on. Mrs. Jennings did not respond to Detective Mallory's email inquiring on the specific verbiage needed to obtain AT&T timing advance. This email is abundantly clear evidence that Ms. Jennings was not only aware of the existence of AT&T timing advance in 2022, but also shows her intention to obtain it through legal process from AT&T. And that was November 15th, 2022.
Boom. Exculpatory evidence. Boom. BK goes free. Boom.
Also, I'm goading because Ashley Jennings.
Dude, fuck Ashley Jennings. I might end up in jail tonight because I'm about to go to Moscow. Fuck these people, dude.
Here she is in the flesh at the end of the day. Yeah. So, I mean, this is really, to me, this is really problematic at the Department of Read right here. Okay. This email communication with prosecutor Ashley Jennings is the same prosecutor Ashley Jennings. Okay. Well, yeah, not this part. Next part. Filed this current and contradictory motion stating AT&T did not produce the timing advance records in 2022. There's clear and convincing evidence that not only was the FBI able to obtain AT&T time advance records in 2022, but they did so with the knowledge of the prosecutors involved in this case. And then the missing AT&T timing advance. Okay. In my review of this investigation, based on my training and experience, it is incredibly unusual that the defendant's AT&T timing advance records were not obtained by the FBI. The FBI demonstrated their ability to obtain AT&T time advance in November of 2022 by obtaining AT&T time advance. So we had talked before, right? I think on the last BK live stream about this, where, and specifically, I think it was actually Heather who brought it up, how that the FBI had them, but didn't turn them over to the prosecution. But what this is saying is actually, and of course we didn't have enough information really to confirm for sure, but basically what this is saying is that the AT&T records were not obtained by the FBI, which is unusual. Okay. The FBI demonstrated their ability to obtain AT&T timing advance in November of 2022 by obtaining time advance records on over 3,800 mobile devices, none of them being the defendants. And is that a no, that's not a footnote, that's an apostrophe. When it comes to location data from AT&T, time advance data can be some of the most accurate data available. Additionally, it contains connections to the network other than the typical voice, text, or data connections. This allows law enforcement to not only see more data, but accurate data. Anytime a defendant's locations are in question, a timing advance report would be asked for as a standard operating procedure. Moscow Police Department, by way of the FBI and with knowledge of prosecutors, demonstrated their awareness of the standard procedure when they obtained AT&T timing advance data on over 3,800 mobile devices. When detectives and prosecutors requested and served 2 different search warrants to AT&T on the defendant's AT&T account, they requested the exact same timing advance data they previously did when they obtained timing advance data from AT&T on over 3,800 mobile devices. They also maintained the same process in utilizing the FBI to serve the legal demands on AT&T. There is no difference in the verbiage, legal process, or individuals that produced AT&T timing advance data on 3,800 mobile devices and the request for the defendant's AT&T timing advance data that allegedly yielded nothing. Additionally, on December 23rd, 2022, the FBI sent a communication directly to AT&T specifically detailing their request for the defendant's AT&T timing advance records. There is no reason to believe AT&T would not respond to this request. It is my expert opinion AT&T timing advance data did exist for the defendant's AT&T mobile device in 2022, and it was requested from AT&T by the investigators involved in this case. The investigators previously demonstrated their ability to obtain AT&T timing advance data in 2022. Failure to produce the defendant's AT&T timing advance data is either a gross deviation from standard practice or intentionally withheld from release in discovery. Conclusion. It is my expert opinion in reviewing all the evidence that has been disclosed by the state that A, AT&T timing advance data was available on the defendant's phone in 2022. Oops. B, there's overwhelming evidence showing the state obtaining and using AT&T time advance data in the course of this investigation in 2022 on over 3,800 AT&T mobile devices other than the defendants. C, there's no doubt the author of this current motion, prosecutor Ashley Jennings, knew or should have known. You guys recognize that phrase, I'm sure. AT&T timing advance data did exist in 2022. She was directly involved in the legal process obtaining it and was aware of work product created from it to further the investigation. The current motion is a deliberate misrepresentation to the court to further conceal false statements used to obtain probable cause against the defendant and conceal exculpatory evidence from discovery. Interesting, because what this to me says, Twiz, I hope you're still listening, because what this looks like, and that's why I was paying attention to the dates. What this looks like he is saying, especially because why he mentioned probable cause. I'm wondering if they actually did have the timing advance records.
Are you talking about the defense?
No. This the FBI, the state, either one.
I mean, it sounds like they did. I don't know if it's for Bryan's, but
so because that's what it's so it's still a little bit unclear, right? Like it's like okay.
The thing
like
is like, what is he gonna say on the stand?
Right. And that's when we will know for sure. Because basically from this, like, okay, so for him saying like that, he basically is like, there's no way they didn't have it. That's what he's saying. He's saying there's no way they didn't have it. So what that basically says is like, they had it, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
So what that would also mean then is that they did have it when they wrote the PCA. So, but they're lying about having it, but that they had it. Right? Because that kind of changes things in terms of our understanding of things. Right? Like, where was it here? It is incredibly, like, to say it's incredibly unusual, right? That they wouldn't have it. It's like basically saying, I don't believe you that you didn't have it. That's how I kind of interpret this. And part of that is totally substantiated because they had it from everybody else, right? Over 30, right? So, but if they had it, then they had it before they wrote the PCA. So what I'm wondering is if part of this is like shit that they put in the PCA was like they had this, but they said they didn't have it. Like that's a huge problem. And that would also make sense as to why he even mentions, like why else would he be mentioning, where was it? The probable cause, right? Where is it? Yeah, right here. Probable cause. Probable cause. So that's a big deal. Because so you know how I said at the beginning of this live stream, right? I was like, okay, we're past probable cause, we're past all that, we're past the PC. Now we're talking about fraud. I mean, that's still true, but he's brought us right back to this, right? And what does this take us right back to? Things like Franks, things like motions to suppress, right? And it's interesting that they weren't able to have this affidavit from Syray.
I think this is more towards motion to dismiss.
Right? I mean, I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Because Ann did say in one of the filings after the Franks that something, I don't remember the exact verbiage, but something like a motion to dismiss is coming. It is coming.
Right. I do remember something like that too. It was in one of the hearings, right? That wasn't in a filing. I was in a hearing. I do remember something like that too. So I'm just wondering if we're, like again, I did say at the beginning of the live stream, right? They were still waiting on some of this last disclosures from SA Balance, which they wouldn't have had, right? Because the state was waiting for their deadline. So if the state's waiting for their deadline for expert witness disclosures, and at that point they get some of those last details, that could be what they were waiting for to drop the hammer on this, right? Like that's what I'm thinking, because this is what I've been saying all along, right? Is like, if they had the shit that was like completely exculpatory, why haven't we seen it yet? And I'm wondering again, if the timing of this is because they just got that expert witness disclosure, right? If you look at the calendar timeline, right? And like they were waiting on maybe some of that last information, right? So that they could make it the strongest possible that they could, right? Like,
right. They got people on the stand, asked them questions, more disclosures.
Yeah.
More evidence handed over through motions to compel and such.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because there's even still more motions to compel that are being filed, but even just the expert witness disclosures, those didn't, they didn't have that until this month. Some of them, I think. Or
because they were all filed late.
Right. Right. And so, but that would explain the timing of this happening now. Right. So, and having said that, like, what I will say is that if, as far as, because we were talking about earlier, right, with the timing of the what was it? The 47 and then the 254 or whatever. We were talking about like phone call, text message or whatever, and then it must be phone call because they only had the CDRs. To that end, it looks like they didn't just have the CDRs, which is a problem either way, right? Because they said they didn't have it. But it does mean that it might, in my view, right?
The question would be when they got them, right? Because in the PCA, essentially, they used data. They got the first warrant return on the 23rd. He mapped out like 4 things and then went back for the second warrant return, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what have they done since then? We don't know. But I'll bet you money that they didn't have the timing advance report when the PCA was written.
I mean, Cyrene in here seems to, considering they had it immediately, right? Like even like with the geofencing and stuff, right? Like, and then he gave a date, that November 15th date.
It all depends on who did the subpoenas or whatever, though, for that tower dump. Because Nick Balance would have to go through like the FBI doors to get the timing report. It sounds like, at least for Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
But that might be an automatic thing for a tower dump because they want to see how far away from the tower everything is. So they pretty much need the timing data for that.
Right. But they also had it for the other people, like the 2 victims and then the one person who they actually thought was a...
Yeah, because it was in the timing or the tower dump. So, I mean,
no, that was separate. That was separate. Where is it? That was separate.
Yeah, but who got them? We don't know.
Let's see what it says.
They wouldn't have got it from a Moscow PD warrant. Balance would probably have to go through whatever.
Yeah, no, it would have been through the FBI. It would have been through the FBI. Yeah, it would have been through the FBI.
So that's what I'm saying. Like they got Bryan's stuff through a warrant. So maybe after the 23rd, Nick Balance went and got it and just didn't use it. But I mean, even reading what Cy said, like he's ignoring a bunch of stuff. He hasn't mapped very much of the data. Like it's all a joke.
But also, like, they could have like SA Balance could have gone through like and tried to get it through the FBI. It could have been both, right? And then also the state could have been doing a warrant to get it. Let me see. I'm just looking for where the part is. Okay, I went too far. Okay. Right. There's that. Okay. It might be in the other document where he mentions, hold on, I think it's in this one actually. Let me go up. The other people. Go back to this one. Okay. Okay. And then again, we're talking about probable cause here again. Okay. SA Balance did not include analysis of AT&T handoff data between the hours of 2:30 and 3. Right. Okay. There's the 23 time thing. Okay. There's that part. Okay. No, okay, no, it has to be in this one then. It's in here somewhere. It's where they mentioned the, okay. Great. I'm looking right at it. I'm blind. So sorry guys that I'm blind. 2 of the victims had AT&T phones. Law enforcement obtained AT&T timing data on both of their phones. Law enforcement developed an early investigative lead in this case. That person had an AT&T phone at the time of the crime. and they obtained his AT&T time advance data. So we don't know if this is due to the tower dump, aka the geofencing, but it's separated out. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of unclear. Might be, might not be. I mean, to me, this looks separate. Also, in the previous filings, they had grouped the two victims in with the third dude. They had grouped them in the other filings, as in like they got it from those three specifically, without even mentioning the tower dump. So, obtained by the FBI using the internal source.
Imagine if his FBI buddy could get in contact with whoever they had to at AT&T and have them produce the fact that the AT&T timing advance report for Bryan was provided.
Right, I know.
Because they could prove it without even going through the state for this.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, I think that they need this. This will be really the fallout of this. It could be very, and it should be, I think. I mean, this is kind of overlap with Kirby, right? They need to bring these people in and ask them questions, right? They need to get this information. Now, the only thing that sucks is could be difficult because you know how it is with federal agencies, right? That sucks. I hate that. But being that balance is already going to be testifying, right? Like that.
We need to call Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. Be like, what's up with your agencies? Granted, they weren't in charge of them back in the day, but this should not fly.
Right. It's backdooring it, right? There's a reason they're supposed to go through the Global Legal Demand Center. It's just like with the fucking databases, right? With the DNA shit. Because like essentially it's like, yeah, you're supposed to go this way through the GLDC, but like, oh, but we can just ignore that and backdoor it. Like why does the FBI always be going through the back door? Am I right? Like what is it about the back door? Twiz? That's what she said. I'll do it. That's what she said. Twiz is here. Yes, Twiz is here.
Did somebody say back door? What?
Me, I said back door. I was waiting for you to say that's what she said. Because they're always backdooring it, right? Be it with the DNA databases or be it with going through getting the FBI, but not through the FBI getting the timing data without going through the GLDC. They're backdooring that shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then lying and hiding stuff and making shit up. It's just a shit show. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And this is an interesting part. This Mr. Gordon fellow. See, he could be a good resource, like what you were saying, Twiz, right? In reviewing this data, I contacted and communicated with Mr. Gordon to clarify the chain of custody related to these records. Right. And they did actually mention, right? There's so much in here. I'm just processing it. They did actually mention there's somebody who would come in and testify, right? If asked. Was that Mr. Gordon? Was that somebody else? But they had somebody they referenced that would come in and testify. That might have been in this other filing. Let's see. No, I think maybe it's not in this filing. Wow. I mean, every single like thing on both of these is like, there's just so much information, new information to us. I believe it was this Mr. Gordon dude though. Just looking for it here. A gross deviation from standard practice. Failure to produce the defendant's AT&T time advance data is either a gross deviation from standard practice or intentionally withheld from release and discovery. Again, reading between the lines here, right? Who's producing what to whom, right? Who's producing what to whom? Denise is here. Hi, Denise. We love you. Who's producing what to whom? I think what he's saying here, right? Again, he can't prove it. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm reading. Okay. He can't prove it. Like there would have to be like an evidentiary hearing, right? He can't prove that the FBI had this timing data for Bryan Kohberger. However, he's basically like, there's no way they didn't. He's like, there's no fucking way they didn't have it, right? So when we're asking this question, failure to produce what to whom? I believe, well, we know the what is the timing data, right? But I believe what he's referencing here is to produce, as in this is based on like the FBI definitely had it. And the failure to produce would be to produce it to the state, I think is what this is saying. And that is either a gross deviation from standard practice or intentionally withheld from release and discovery. So, and again, it's just, there's so much overlap with the IGG shit, right? Because it's like they can hide behind this whole thing. It's the feds. We can't get it. It's the feds, right? And unfortunately, that is true so much of the time. And they're like, you know, hiding behind that like shield of like, well, it's not us, it's the feds, right? TUI requests, those go nowhere. Too bad, you know, and all that. So Twiz is still here, guys. He's just got himself on mute for a second, I think. He unmutes and chimes in when he's got something to say. And what was it? I was looking for something here. By the way, Denise, I don't think you've been here since we started having memberships. So just letting you know, and for anyone else too, we have memberships now as well. Anytime a defendant's locations are in question, a time advance report would be asked for as standard operating procedure. Additionally, on December 23rd, 2022, the FBI sent a communication directly to AT&T, specifically detailing their request for the defense AT&T timing advance records. There is no reason to believe AT&T would not respond to this request. I think they had this shit, the FBI. And again, this is really clarifying, right? The FBI had it. I think the FBI had this shit before the PCA. And remember, then you had the whole co-located thing, right? And it makes sense what I'm saying here, guys, because remember how much, so Cy Ray brought that up in this other filing here, the whole thing about being co-located and working together. So in other words, and remember, there were even questions about that, them being in the same room and everything. So I'm thinking like that the FBI had it. And maybe it was like, oh, you know, we're in the same room. Like, in other words, okay, I guess I'm trying, okay, like the state could have potentially got some information or overheard it on accident or whatever, but then they say they don't have it because they don't have it because they know that it will be, that will come out if it's in the discovery, but they have that plausible deniability. Like if the FBI has it, right? Again, it's that plausible deniability. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat here. So Need Some Z's is saying Cyrus calling out Jennings directly leading this info out of the problem. Yes, I know, 100%. And it was not just Cyrus. The whichever defense attorney it was, you know, the defense team, they did the same thing in all the other filings with this. And I was actually really happy about it. I was like, look, they're not even really throwing Mallory and Balance under the bus so much as Ashley Jennings, because like I said before, the buck stopped with her, right? And that makes sense because it really does look like they're gearing towards a motion to dismiss or there's going to be some fallout to this, right? And you want to, you know, even though law enforcement already, as you guys know, by default is included when they say the prosecuting office, that's part of it, right? They're an extension. However, as you go up the chain, right, when you go to Ashley Jennings, it gives you a much stronger position, right? Thanks, James. Right. He does say there's more than one way. That's also true.
That's the funny thing about this, because Cy's been doing this since 1997. I think he knows what's going on.
Needs to be a great question. She says, but it's not plausible deniability, is it? Cy's telling exactly why they. Right. Exactly. 100%. But they just like with the IGG shit, right? It's like they did not have the foresight. They being the state, they being the FBI, they did not have the foresight that the truth was going to come out anyway. And maybe they underestimated the type of defense that the defendant, whoever it was, right? When they first started, like they maybe underestimated, right? Like that. And to that end, were it not for them, Cy-Ray, you know, like for example, had the defense team had like a shitty expert, right? It might have been a lot harder to find this shit out, right? Because they wouldn't have any idea. Like they wouldn't, you know, like obviously, like you look at all the experience and all this, and it's like, this is why he's able to say they definitely fucking had it. So the state, I think, and they did not have the foresight, I will say, right, with a lot of things. And again, this is so reminiscent to me of everything with the IGG, because they tried to pretend like it didn't exist. And we watched recently that press conference, right, with from when they had the arrest and everything. And it was like so clear. What did they say the whole time? They were like, we got to him because of the tip line, the phone calls. And then they kept asking for more information. Please keep calling us. And like the way that they tried so hard, right, to maintain their lie. It reminds me kind of Alex Murdaugh, but I'm not going to, like, you know, it's like, and just like with the frozen shock phase, there's so many examples of this, right? Of like, here's what we said, and we're sticking to it. We're going to double down. We're going to triple down. We're going to quadruple down. We're going to fight to keep this from coming out. And I think they just underestimated like the fight in the defense. I mean, and they didn't know who the defense counsel would be at that point in time, but this is why I will say, this is why good defense attorneys, and this is such an understatement, is so important, right? Because were it not for defense attorneys that fight like this, prosecutors all over the country would get away with whatever they wanted. They're the only people that keep them in check. So, sorry, Twiz. I was getting on my soapbox. He muted himself. That's right. Yes, I agree. Cy saying the state thought Hitler and the defense were too stupid to realize what they did. That's exactly well said. That is summarizing in a nutshell what I just said in a lengthy explanation, basically. Yes, exactly. Yep. That they thought it would never get found out. They thought it would never get found out. Yep.
That's actually like 100 million times fucking worse, because they were just going to throw this kid in prison and let him fucking rot and not even say a fucking word. Fuck these people.
Right, exactly. Official there is saying, yeah. I'm just trying to read what you guys are saying in the chat. So, and that's a good point. James is saying, Bill, in my opinion, leaned heavy on BK taking plea deal pudding. Yeah, you know what? And that's a great point, because if that had happened, then the state would have been right, unfortunately. None of this would have come out. If he had just taken a plea deal right off the bat, yep, 100%. That's a good point. That is a really good point. James is thanking Twiz for hopping on. Yes, thank you, Twiz. Thank you. Exactly. Thank you, Denise. And that's why, like, to me, this is so comparable to that, right? Same with Vic Gabarlo and the IGG. Yup. And there's probably other things as well, but for everything, right, that they wanted to keep hidden that came out, those are the two biggest things, right? The IGG and that whole situation, and then the phone, right? So, you know, a lot of the other stuff can be considered a distraction, honestly, when you look at the really, what does it come down to? So, I mean, it is crazy. It's crazy. And again, it's also crazy that apparently this wasn't, you know, these new filings weren't showing up on the computer. Maybe they are now. I don't know. It doesn't matter because I already have them. But yes. So I don't even know, did I ever even finish reading this?
That'd be weird if I got them first, because normally I get them later than everyone.
Did you have them, Twiz?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. Yeah, I only had it on my phone. They were showing up on my phone and not on the computer. That's what's so funny about it. I have no idea. So yeah, I didn't even finish reading this. Let me finish reading. Okay. Let me finish reading this document. So I'm prepared to provide witness testimony and relevant exhibits that support all my opinions contained in this affidavit. It is my belief this evidence is beyond clear and convincing. Now, this is important. Why? He's mentioning the legal standard, clear and convincing. What is clear and convincing? A good way to think of it is like 85%. Okay. So remember, greater weight of the evidence or preponderance of the evidence is what they will say is like 50% plus a grain of sand. So that's your lowest standard, okay? 50% plus a grain of sand. Clear and convincing is your medium standard. And then, of course, beyond a reasonable doubt is the highest. So if you think of beyond a reasonable doubt as like 99.9999%, right? You think of preponderance of the evidence or greater weight of the evidence as 50% plus a grain of sand. It makes, beyond clear and convincing, 85% makes sense. And that's what I other people will describe it as. So for him to say beyond clear and convincing speaks volumes to me, because he knows the legal standard, being an expert that's testified so many times. And why does this matter? Again, because I think we can expect subsequent filings from the defense for other things. All of the sanctions, motion to dismiss, we'll see. Too fast for fleas. Welcome. Glad you're here. Yay. Excellent. Good. Thank you for this question. Need some Z's. So if we compare this to the Alec Baldwin case and what the prosecution did there, is this the same? Okay. First of all, there's a few differences. One of them is New Mexico has different standards for what it takes to dismiss with prejudice. Okay. Idaho is a little bit more stringent on what is required. Another difference is that it was in the middle of trial, right? Like that this came up, like this was uncovered during trial. So that is a distinction. Now, what I could do is pull up the different standards in Idaho versus New Mexico and look at it. And that way we could get more specific with it. Okay, to summarize what happened with Alec Baldwin, right? Okay, actually, I think I can sum it up without even having to go to the thing. The difference is the difference with New Mexico is it doesn't have to be exculpatory, okay? So that, in other words, what wasn't turned over and what was hidden in another file, right? It may or may not have been exculpatory. The point there was that it wasn't up to, like, what happened was Carrie Morrissey, right? The special prosecutor, Carrie Morrissey, said, like, this isn't exculpatory. And she said, look, that is not your job. It's the defense's job. It's not your job to decide what they would use or what they wouldn't use or what is exculpatory and what's not, which I agree with, obviously, right? It's like, that's the defense's job. Like, you turn it over and you let them decide. So the difference being, like, it didn't matter if it would have been exculpatory or not, or even if the defense would have used it at trial or not, right? The standard, it was because it wasn't turned over, that's enough, dismissed with prejudice, right? And from when I remember, like, when this happened then, and then looking at the difference being that that's not the case in every state. So I believe in Idaho, it has to be exculpatory. However, think back to all of the times, right? Think about all the times when Ann Taylor has said it's exculpatory evidence in regards to the cell phone. And we see as much, and that's why this matters, guys. Thank you for your question, Need Some Z's, because this is helping me tie all this together with the decisions on purpose right here. The intentional omission of exculpatory evidence, right? So things that are really noteworthy in these affidavits. The exculpatory, intentional omission of exculpatory evidence. There's another point where he says known or should have known, right? Another legal standard. And then beyond clear and convincing right here. Again, another legal standard. He is setting this up, in my opinion, very much for the defense to come in, right? I mean, this is literally why this is so groundbreaking, because this is the standard in Idaho, right? It has to be exculpatory, but they've been building up to this, right? With saying that, like, in so many different filings. And again, the fact that he's noting all these different legal standards, and where is the known or should have known? So I can highlight that right here. Knew or should have known, beyond clear and convincing. I mean, it's a big deal to me, guys. So let me see what else you guys are saying. I agree with you, Needs Some. I'll be so disappointed if Hippler does nothing with this information. Well, he may not do any. I mean, there's going to be more to come out. There's going to be more to fall. Like I said, the defense filed this when they did for a reason. And it'll be really interesting. I mean, I don't know. Denise, do you think they will drop something like a motion to dismiss or a motion for sanctions, maybe leading up to a motion. Like, do you think they will drop that before the 9th? I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm curious what you think, Denise, because Denise, for anyone who doesn't know, is a defense attorney. No, of course they won't mention it. Yeah. Twiz, great minds think alike, right? Not that either of us are great. Well, you're great. But Twiz says maybe they will file dismissal right before the 9th. Literally, that's what I was just saying. That's so funny. That's so funny. Jinx, Twiz. That's what I was just saying. Twiz is okay-ish. That's funny. Yeah, that's literally what I was just saying. Because again, the timing of it. And remember, it even said the writing's on the wall here, right? It's like, look, remember what Cy Ray said? He was like, since you told me I can't come testify on the 9th. I mean, I wonder what would have happened. Like, if they'd allowed him to come testify on the 9th, maybe this would have come out then. I mean, I'm sure it would have. This would have come out then. And then maybe there would have been the subsequent filing right after that. But because he's like, well, you didn't allow it, bam, right? So why even wait until the 9th? I agree with what Twiz said. That's why we said it at the same time, which is like probably like on the eve, right? You know, or between now and then, at least, I would say. What do you think?
Eliza Massoff. Timing is everything with this case.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Floater.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. So, and it's funny because as I mean, maybe you guys thought of this. I'm just thinking of it now. Could have been also meant on purpose to have like a double entendre, right? Timing is everything in this case. And also timing, like timing data. Mm-hmm. 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 What do you think, Twiz?
There are several meanings of timing in this case. Several.
Yes. What else do you think in addition to those two? Twiz?
Anything. The timing of the murders, timing Bryan left his
right.
house, timing Bryan drove out of Pullman. Like everything is timing. Timing of Xana's TikTok, which they lied about. That's not.
Yeah, and like that was so dumb, right? Because it's like
that's not intentional. You can't fuck that up. Just like you can't fuck up a phone call between 2:47 and 2:54.
Yeah, I mean,
this can't just be like a random, oh, I fucked up, my bad thing.
The whole thing about Xana on TikTok, and we haven't gone over that document yet, but like, it's just so dumb. It's like it's the type of thing where it's like there, you know, that was something they didn't even have to lie about, in my opinion. Like, there's no, unless it has something to do with the DoorDash delivery, right? But again, it's like, I don't know. We were talking about this, and Twiz was mentioning the thud, and I was like, well, Xana being on TikTok has nothing to do with that, right? That still could have happened anyway. Oh, thank you, Denise. Twiz and I can go back and forth between Twiz is right again and Denise saying you're great. Just kidding. Thank you, Denise, for being so awesome. You're great too. We love you. Yes, that's also true. Damn straight, a motion to dismiss. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Okay, so I got sidetracked with clear and convincing evidence. It is beyond my belief that this evidence is beyond clear and convincing and will be supported by any competent expert in this field who reviews all the data. This is not a battle of the experts. The evidence supporting the opinions in this affidavit is overwhelming. Wow. In my nearly 30 years of working with and for prosecutors all over the United States, I have never witnessed such a deliberate attempt. A deliberate attempt by prosecutors to mislead the court. This is important as well, and I'll tell you why. Here, somebody was asking, like, okay, something like, who was it? Like, it would be a shame if Judge Hippler doesn't do anything. And I was like, well, you know, he'll probably have to wait on something to come in from the defense. Well, I hadn't read the whole thing yet. Here, this is Cy Ray, like, empowering Judge Hippler to be like, look, they fucked you over too. They misled the court. And you guys we've seen this, how, you know, like, for example, in Karen Reed, how judges hate feeling like they were lied to. Although I guess in that case, it's the defense, not the prosecution. However, obviously shouldn't be the case. But here, this is really important, right? It's not just a deliberate attempt by prosecutors to mislead the defense or to mislead whoever. to mislead the court. That's empowering Judge Hippler. That's how I interpret that. So I think that's huge. I think that is huge because we know Judge Hippler does have the ability. Like, it is within his discretion, by the way. He doesn't, like, I figured, right, like there will be a filing from the defense. However, he doesn't have to wait. He can dismiss this. He can dismiss this without being asked by the defense. He can. And this is Sire empowering him, right? So to mislead the court on evidence in such plain sight, anyone making such a claim would have to believe the court is incapable. Again, this is the part where it's like assuming they're dumb. Incapable. Look at this. Dude, wow. He's like, dude, Judge Hippler, that's how dumb they think you are. Aren't you offended? Wow. I'm going to read this again. Anyone making such a claim would have to believe the court is incapable of reviewing physical evidence in possession of the state and defense. Wow. It rises to a level beyond a simple miscommunication or oversight and is clear and intentional misrepresentation in the hopes to conceal a much larger issue. Wow. I respectfully request the court give this affidavit the due attention it deserves and explore these issues further. Wow. 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 Wow.
Bill Thompson can suck it.
You know, it's so interesting because imagine how much we were all very much, okay, I felt like it was a miscarriage of justice, right, when Franks was denied, even though I know it's so rare, but still. And there were a lot of issues in his ruling, and it was just making excuses left and right and a lot of circular reasoning. And, you know, same thing with a lot of the other stuff there, right? And we were all like, fucking hell, right? However, I'm wondering if, and I feel like it's not really wondering, but probably more certain, that the defense team was like not even fazed because they knew this was coming. That's what she said. That's what she said. They knew this was coming. And it was like, it's fine. Right? Because this is a much bigger issue than the IGG, especially given that they didn't have the case law to support the IGG shit, right? Because it doesn't exist yet, right? And that was their main, they were hanging their hat on that. That rhymed. They're hanging their hat on that. And that didn't have case law to back it up. However, right, this is very different because the cell phone shit has plenty of history in terms of who can get what when. And again, like literally, where is it? Like, it will be clear by any competent expert in the field who reviews all the data. It's not a battle of the experts. The evidence supporting the opinions. Like, in other words, it's like, yeah, there's no way around it. It is what it is. So this is a much stronger, I think, right? I think this is going to be a much stronger argument for them, for Judge Hippler too. And again, not that the IGG thing wasn't a big deal, but they did not have ways to really back that up versus with this. And I think this last sentence is huge too. I respectfully request the court give this affidavit the due attention it deserves and explore these issues further. Wow. 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 Wait, what are you asking for, James? Start from 2.5 years back, please. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? Happy Annie's here. Hello, hello. Right. Need some Z's. Yeah, I feel like they're trying to. And the other thing is, like, again, they did not have the timing of the expert witness disclosures, right? At the time of the Franks and all the motions to suppress, they did not have a lot of what they have now. They still had motions to compel on the table. And like we were talking about this at the beginning of the stream, but for anyone who's just now getting here, I think that part of this timing is because, again, it was only just like at this month, right, that they were provided with the state expert witness file, the vague and undisclosed expert witness testimony, but basically they did get stuff from SA Balance, right? And potentially they were waiting on that and maybe some other outstanding discovery. And I think they wanted to wait to make this argument, right, until they had everything they thought they could possibly get their hands on, so it would be as strong as possible, versus making it earlier with less to back it up, right? This goes a lot further that they waited, right? Now they did reference the cell phone shit, right, in the motions to suppress and in the Franks and all that, but it was not their primary thing. And again, I think a lot of that is probably because they were waiting on some of that outstanding discovery, and also again, the expert witness report from SA Balance, which we know is a big deal because why? The first affidavit here from Cyrate is about that, literally about that. So clearly, right, this is a huge part of them being able to say for a fact, right? Like they wouldn't want to go for this. You know, what's the saying? Don't come for the king unless you can, what is it? I don't know the rest of the saying, something like that. Anyway, like they wanted to wait until they could, like, for sure, right? That's my interpretation of it. And the timing of the expert witness reports and everything. So yes, definitely that as well though. And see what else you guys are saying. Happy Annie says, just got off work. You guys have put a whole new viewpoint to me. Interesting. Well, I'd love to hear more about that. I'm very happy. I appreciate, I'm not that I'm trying to make anybody think anything, but I just appreciate, I think being open-minded is an important character and quality, important quality in life. And I appreciate when people are open-minded. So I will say that much. Gosh, I don't know if this is to me or someone else, but that name, Cash Patel. Why does that name ring a bell? Was that brought up in chat or I don't know. Yes. Oh, right. Okay. That's right. And that's why I was like, oh, it rings a bell because Twiz said that earlier. See, I stay out of all the politics stuff, so I don't know all the names. Okay. But yeah, he's got his dudes though. And the one dude I was trying to look for, the one who he was like, will come in and testify, but he's got Mr. What's his name? What's his face's name? He's got, oh, it's in this one. Mr. Gordon. He's got the Mr. Gordon dude, but oh, there it is. This is the part I was looking for earlier. Right. Okay. I have personal knowledge that in the event Mr. Gordon was required to testify, evidentiary hearing, he would clarify that prior to May of 2023, neither he nor the AT&T GLDC working group was involved with AT&T timing advance records. And then again, he's contacted and communicated with Mr. Gordon to clarify the chain of custody. Mr. Gordon and an AT&T legal representative informed me that Mr. Gordon would not be the individual to certify these records if required to do so. And so where was Mr. Gordon first mentioned? Okay, he's the director of the GLDC. So he's not FBI, but anyway, that's what made me think of it. The GLDC dude. Okay, thank you. Need some Z's? Thank you. What did they also lie about, Twiz? They lied about what too? I'm just seeing what else you guys are saying. Twiz, what did you say the prosecution also lied about? What, the GLDC? Because I don't know if that was in reference to something I was just reading. So, I mean, this is a lot. This is big. This is very big. That's what she said. That's what she said. So, I don't know if Twiz has any other last thoughts, although I feel like he's gonna just, he's fired up. He's fired up, and we love it. We love having Twiz. Thank you for coming on, Twiz. Also, so I had already planned out what was going to be next for the live streams before this happened. These documents, so I may switch things around. The Shanna Gardner hearing from today was pretty crazy. That will be definitely something that we'll probably end up doing that later tonight. But it looks like from what you guys were saying in the chat, it looks like there's a lot of people who are going to be going live covering this. So I don't really know if like anybody would care to watch that. But it was very interesting. And there were lots of that's what she said moments, and also government corruption in a big way. Yes. Oops. Trying to pull this up. Yes. Thank you for joining. Yes, indeed. Indeed. So anyway, so I don't know. I guess I'll just sort of see what happens here. But I was planning on going live again, but again, that was before all this happened, and now everything changes. So so I may just hold off on that.
You were planning on going live last night too, so what's up?
Well, my internet spectrum went out, and they said,
well, now you made me feel like an asshole. Thanks.
they said internet wasn't going to be back until 12:00 p.m. today, but then this morning at like 9:30 or something, it popped on, and I was like, that's why I went live with Karen Reed at that point, because I was like, oh, so, yeah. I'm just reading what Needs and Z's is saying here. Well, plea deals, I mean, those are on the record. So that I'm not against reading plea deals, right? Like, I'll read plea deals. I didn't know about that. Anyone that wants to provide me with these plea deals, I for sure will cover them 100%. Yeah. So yes. So I was talking about the Shanna Gardner hearing. So anyway, but yeah, when I went live this morning, I wasn't quite sure actually. I was like, well, it's kind of risky because they said it would come back by noon. And like, if I go live at like, whatever it was, like 10:30 or whatever, I was like, is it going to cut out again? Anyway, it's just, it was back and it's stayed on. So I don't know. They were just working on it up and down the street and replacing the poles or whatever the fuck they do. So, yeah. So anywho, so to that end, Twiz, I do plan to go live again. However, if there's not going to be anybody there, then I won't go live, basically. Right. Because, I have set up, like, I have Shanna Gardner set up. I have another BK stream set up. I have Murdaugh set up. I have the next, some more Karen Reed filings set up. I've got Casey Anthony set up. I have all these streams set up that, it's just a matter of like, timing them. You're very welcome. You're very
Timing strikes again.
Timing strikes again. Yes. Well, what I plan to do on the next BK one though, unless, well, who knows? There could be some more shit dropping, right? Like, who knows? If there's like a motion to dismiss or something else, like this groundbreaking, right? Like, then that would all go out the window. But the plan was to do the 911 call next in terms of the most recent filings about that. So it was going to be 911 call, DNA, and expert witnesses, and also the dollhouse exhibit would be the next one. I'm not going to forget your previous comment. If you're talking about this one, I already read this one, Needs and Z's. Did you hear me read this one and respond to you? Because I was saying, if it's plea deals, those are on the record. And if anyone that I don't know where to find that, but if someone has it, wants to send it to me, I'll totally cover that. And welcome Kimmy, who's here as well. So I don't know. Was I correct that there's other people that are going to be going live tonight with this?
You'd have to define when tonight is, because normally you go on late.
Yeah, I probably would go on late actually.
Then
So
you should be fine.
but I don't know what time other people are anyway. So like, yeah, later, like for the people who like to watch live streams at like after midnight, right? You know what I mean? Angel D, make sure that you're on live chat, not top chat. And also YouTube has been having issues because other people have been talking about this for like since yesterday. So it could be a YouTube issue, but also those people seemed to all express that they were accidentally on top chat and not live chat. So Happy Annie says go live. Okay, all right. That's very nice of you, Just Beth. Also welcome. And so also for anyone who hasn't heard, so we have another new squirrel friend. Amanda, welcome. I have not seen you in the chat before. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Okay. Go live later. Okay, we'll do. We'll go live later then, guys. So yes, welcome to the Squall Crew. Anyone else who's new, I was going to say too, for those of you guys who are members, we're going to be doing our members only live stream with the trivia next week. So get your categories in by tomorrow. For those of you guys who want to submit categories, and because I got to compile all the questions, but that'll be fun. Our last one was Never Have I Ever. We had so much fucking fun. We will do it again. That's what she said. We will do it again, but the next one will be the and thank you, James, for putting the Discord in the chat there. We will do the trivia next time, and then we will do another Never Have I Ever. I think also it'll be fun to do a trivia night that's exclusively trial trivia. Anyway, we've got lots going on, and Happy Annie just gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Happy Annie, for gifting a membership. Love it. It's so fun. Like the memberships are new, and you guys don't forget there's custom emoji, right? And I may have unlocked another batch because we've had some new people join, and YouTube does that thing where it's like you get more emoji when more people join. So, but we do have a lot of them already, so don't forget about those guys as well. And Too Fast gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Too Fast. Also, you are so pretty. Too Fast was killing it at the Never Have I Ever. Love it. That was a fucking blast. And we have Kimmy also doing some custom emoji. Love it. Thank you. The 2 gray. By the way, speaking of the 2 gray boys, right? One of our custom emoji, aka the 5'2" ninja assassins with the green lasers. They will be making an appearance at our next Murdaugh live stream, and it's amazing, absolutely amazing. This means, Kimmy, that you should have been there, and hopefully you'll be there next time. Good luck though going up against Franks. Shout out to Franks, and good luck going up against Too Fast. I will just say good luck. Also, Victorine did really well in the life experiences category too. Oh, it was so fun. And that is why we play. Oh, Happy Annie. I've got you covered. I have got you covered. I already have it planned out. We are starting with armpits. We are starting with Colonel Armpits. Of course. We're starting over with the defense case in chief, so we can start with Coroner Armpits. We're starting with that. So we're going to go from Coroner Armpits into Buster's testimony, and then straight from there into Mike Sutton, which is the dude with the 5'2" ninja 11-year-old assassins with the green lasers. It's going to be, it's like literally the best trial moments of all time, really. And it continues to get better, because then you have the other expert who says that they were hiding in the ceiling, the 5'2" 11-year-olds, and then you have Alex take the stand. It's just pure gold, just pure gold. You'll just have to be there, and then you can find out, Twiz. Moments that live in infamy for sure. Too fast says, the Never Have I Ever game the other night exposed me as either experienced or as corrupt. Experienced. Definitely experienced. That was so fun. That was so fun. So, but y'all, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Twiz, for coming on. That's what she said. And again, Twiz is now a co-host, guys. So Twiz can pop on whenever. You can even just.
Can I get modded then? Am I a mod now?
You know, an Amethyst Nor, long time no see. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Happy Annie gifted another membership. Thank you, thank you. Twiz, I'll think about it. We can play Let's Make a Deal.
Never coming up here again.
Shut up. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. Since I don't have a mod. I don't even know like what even that is for. Like what would, and I knew Kane was going to say that. I don't even know what it would mean. Like what would be, like, Twiz, can you
I can just delete Meg P's comments when I want to. It's fun.
Is that really what it is? It's just you can delete comments?
You can delete comments, ban people, time them out.
None of that will ever be relevant, though.
I mean, I wouldn't really do it anyways unless it was for fun. So just do it.
But can you undo it?
No.
I'm like, I don't want to ban people. I love everybody. Right. And see, that's kind of what I figured, but like, I've never needed that, right? We've only had the one troll, and that was Glenn. He's the legend. And you know, so it's just been me Nightbot control. Like the chat doesn't need it, right?
I can share links and stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, Amanda says, she said no. That's what she said. Do it. This is amazing. I'll consider it. If you want to be a mod, Twiz, and it means you'll continue to come on, then you can be a co-host and a mod. You can be very special. James is seconding it. We could put it to a vote. could put it to a vote. Who wants Twiz to be a mod? Make yourselves known, guys. If you want Twiz to be a mod. Meg says no. That's funny. Kane is not happy. Twizzle stick mod. I mean, I don't want Meg's comments removed though. I agree. He's very special. Can I make him a mod, but tell him, can I make it so that he can't remove your comments, Meg? Thank you. Too Fast is actually answering my questions. I appreciate that. If you can put people in timeout for like 10 seconds all the way up to a week or whatever from chat. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Like when I blocked Glenn, it was just like block. Like there wasn't even options. It's interesting. He'll be good. Will you behave, Twiz? Will you behave?
Don't I always behave? I'm like the chillest mod ever. I let every people do anything.
Okay. Okay.
But every now and then I just like to, you know, remove make peace comments. It's our thing.
Look at James. Twiz is a fucking goat mod him. Okay. 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 And you and Meg is voting. Okay. I will. I don't know. I think I have to do that through YouTube. I'll have to do that. I don't know that I can
click on my name and YouTube chat.
And I'll have to do it. I'll have to go and do things through Nightbot probably. Does anybody know?
I don't think you'd have to do anything with Nightbot.
Maybe it automatically updates. Okay, let me see. Let me see, guys. Let me see if we can do this. Hold on. We can have a live celebration for Twiz. Let's just see here. Give me a second to do this, or try to do this anyway. Here, I'm going to play something for you guys while I try to figure out how to do this. I think I might have gotten it figured out or almost there. Give me just 1 second. We're going to enjoy momentarily. We're going to enjoy let's watch. How about the music video? That'll give me enough time to definitely get it done. Hold on. Where is it? Here it is. Do 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 do. 339 Canton time. Jackson United, it's time to shine. There's snow, there's snow, there's snow, there's snow. To the window, to the wall, to the wall, to the bartender's last call. At the waterfall. Ah, sleep, sleep, motherfucker. Ah, sleep, sleep, goddamn. Ah, sleep, sleep, motherfucker. Ah, sleep, sleep, goddamn. They'll crunk and act and meet. Brian simply wrestling, they have too much drink in their minds. Everything's fine, they've been after party gathered about 50 damn times. To the window, to the wall, to the wall. The bartender's last call. At the waterfall. Ah, sleep, sleep, motherfucker. Ah, sleep, sleep, goddamn, goddamn. Ah, sleep, sleep, motherfucker. Ah, sleep, sleep, goddamn. Do 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 do. Okay, Twiz, do you see anything? Do you get a notification? How do we know? If you type something in the chat, I want to see if it worked. I think I did it. I think I did it. But I don't know yet until we see the wrench, basically. There it is, you guys. Woohoo! Look at that. He's got a wrench. Oh my God. I thought I would never have a mod. I will just say I never, ever, ever thought I would have a mod. Congrats to Twiz. That's fun. That's fun. And yes, that is me singing. That's the music video for Karen Reed, right? Of course, Get Low, Canton Style. Sleep, sleep, motherfucker. I do enunciate the cursey words for sure. It's catchy, right? Oh my God, the grok or whatever. That's funny. Yeah. So, and when I'm also going to be having a Wendy Adelson song for when she gets arrested. I'm really excited about that one as well. Fucking Fievel. And yeah, so like obviously too, like everything in there is legit from like even like the pictures of the snow plows, like that's the actual company there in Canton. And like you guys probably saw, right? It was like the actual bartender, like the actual house. And like when it says to the wall, to the windows to the wall, it's like the windows of the house and like the wall of the house. Anyway, that is funny. Twiz, you better be here or I'll unwrench you. That's funny. It is good though if you can post links or whatever, because like that can be helpful. He had to do a Meg one. Got it. That's funny. In honor of Twiz, though, in honor of Twiz,
It's very big.
Hang on, we got another one. Where Where did it go? Where did it go? Hang on. Here it is.
That call is actually from Brian Higgins to you, isn't it?
Yes.
Obviously, you know how long 22 seconds is.
What's that?
You know how long 22 seconds lasts.
Yes.
So the Wendy song I'm going to do is a song from like the 60s where it's like, everyone knows it's Wendy. And I already have it all planned out in my head. It's going to be really fucking funny. And it's going to have all of the different Wendy memes that we've made. We've made a ton of Wendy memes. It's going to have those. And then it's going to have Glenn comments from our troll Glenn. And who, by the way, tried to get a video of mine, my Adelson video live stream taken down. And he claimed, I know it was him, had to be, because there it was unfounded, but it was like he reported like cyberbullying or something like that, or cyber. I mean, I was like, what? And then I just clicked appeal, and I did this right before a live stream the other night, and I just clicked appeal, and I was like, I don't understand what's going on. And like literally within like an hour, it was like, your appeal's been granted. Like there was nothing wrong with this. And it went back up, and I was like, it must have been Glenn. It had to have been Glenn. It had to be. He only cares about. He's like, either Glenn is Wendy or is like in love with Wendy. Like anyway, it's funny. So derp durable. Look how cute Nightbot is. We love Nightbot. So yes, it'll be the Everyone Knows It's Wendy song, and it'll have Glenn quotes, and it'll have Wendy memes, of which there's a lot. You know, I'm sure we'll have Fievel, right? Fucking Fievel. There she is. It'll be really great. I already have it all planned out in my head. It'll be my best one yet. That's really funny, official. But guys, that'll be it for this one. And this was what a big day. What a big day. We wanted Twiz to come on earlier for Karen Reed. He wasn't so inclined. And you know what? Everything happens for a reason, because this was a momentous occasion, right? For his first time after many times of me asking, and it had to be with the timing advance records. It just makes perfect sense. We did also have requests for a new segment called Twiz Reads. So that will still have to happen, especially since I modded you, Twiz. We're going to have to do a Twiz Reads on another live stream, but nonetheless, that was awesome. What an epic day. What an epic day for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. There's a lot of epicness. It was amazing. That's so funny. I don't know when that is, but we'll talk if you want to wait for that, Twiz. For Twiz Reads, I guess she's saying. So, but yeah, we will be going live later. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. If we want to do Shanna Gardner, if we want to do Murdaugh, but we'll go live later, with some of that. And, yeah. But until then, until next time, guys, love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Congrats to Twiz again. Congrats to everybody for being awesome and for being a squirrel, because we love you guys. Squirrel Crew is the
Don't congrats me. Congratulations to all of you for being in my presence.
Oh.
Hey, Chelsea, by the way, did you notice my picture today?
I did notice your picture.
Do you know what it is?
It's from the 24th, right?
I don't know.
It's Ann Taylor and Bryan Kohberger. It looks like it's from the 24th, the hearing, right?
It's the Avengers Squad. Ann Taylor, Cy Ray, me, Bicca Barlow, Bryan Kohberger.
I mean, it's tiny, Twiz. Can you make it bigger? Because it's so tiny.
I actually can't. Thank you for bringing that up on public here or forum. Thank you.
I can only make out. Did you crop everybody in the background? I can only make out Ann Taylor and Bryan Kohberger.
I didn't crop out anything. That's just how bad the stream was in Latah.
No. I'm saying in the picture, like you didn't add y'all in the picture. You guys were all sitting right there. Like you're so tiny, I can't fucking see it.
My head is on Brian's shoulder.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. You're gonna have to make it bigger so we can see it.
I can't. Here, I'll send it to you, and then you could do whatever you want with it.
Okay. That's what she said. Yes. You guys are so funny. You're very welcome. Okay, that's, you know what we will definitely celebrate this picture. I mean, because from what I'm looking at here, I can only make out Ann Taylor and Bryan Kohberger. Most of that is just because what else would it be? Yeah, wait, Twiz, can't you put a link in the chat? Can't you put a link in the chat? Right? That's what she said. Can you make it big on demand? That is it. That's correct. That is right.
Certainly can't.
Wow.
Sometimes you just have to say it is what it is and do what you can with what you got. All right.
You mean, oh, wow. Sorry. I was going to say Ipsy Dicksit. And then I was like, oh my God. Ipsy Dicksit. Does anybody get why that's funny? Is it just me?
I don't
Does
know.
anybody get why that's funny?
What's it from?
Because Ipsy Dicksit was what Alessi was saying numerous times, and it means it is what it is. But like you said, it is what it is, referring to, and then Ipsy Dicksit, but spell it with a CK instead of an X. Yeah. Anyway, now it's not funny anymore. Good job, me, not.
What is your penetrometer set to?
Guess.
Max hardness.
That's right, baby. Max hardness.
Mine doesn't come with that setting either. It's very depressing in my world.
Oh, no. You need to get yourself a new one that you can set to max hardness. I'm saying.
Small and not very hard.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That pocket penetrometer. You know what I mean? Like $43 on Amazon. It's a deal. It's a deal.
I'm going to have to get one of those one of these days.
I think Judge Bev needs one. So she can be less cranky.
Maybe she needs something.
Yeah.
Maybe something that vibrates. I don't know.
Right? I know. I wonder if they make a penetrometer that does that as well.
I'm sure they do.
Speaking of which, real quick, Shanna Gardner. So Shanna Gardner, besides having a hearing today, apparently she got things confiscated from her jail cell, and one of them was a jail homemade dildo that they took from her.
Lovely.
I know, and they didn't specify what it was made of, but I was like, that's a double standard, because we all know that the dudes that are in jail, they have the thing that they make with the sock, because like everybody talks about that, and like that doesn't get confiscated. So it's, I don't know, it's a double standard in my opinion. I
don't know about the sock thing, but go on.
Just people that have spent time in to reference the office, the show The Office, in the clink, in Prison Mike. Anyway, they have a thing they do make with a sock. I forget what they put in the sock, but they do a thing with a sock. And everybody does it. And I don't do that. Well, you're not in prison.
Okay.
It's a prison thing, right?
Gotcha.
Because they gotta find another way, anyway, but like they get to keep their socks. Okay. And it's just that was the thing that I thought was so funny, is like then they found Shanna's makeshift dildo thing. I forget what they called it. I think they actually called it a dildo, but the languaging was funnier in it.
They found some like old ones that were made out of rocks back in the day.
Did they really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
No. You're making a joke because they're hard as a rock, right?
No. No.
That sounds dangerous, though.
Chicks be shoving stuff places. That's all I know.
Don't say that. I mean, really, that's what if we've learned nothing from this live stream, there it is. Chicks be shoving stuff some places. Courtesy of Twiz.
Not courtesy of me. I stay away.
Oh my God. I know, right? Ouch is right. That's what I'm saying. Now there are smooth rocks, but I don't know I've never seen these rocks. I don't know what type of rocks he's referencing.
You can get some rocks pretty smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, maybe that's what they did. I hope they checked them with the penetrometer as well. They must have had like a old school penetrometer thing too. Like, I don't know, like bang it on shit. Oh, see if it breaks or not. Thank you, Sunny Days. Also welcome. Happy to see you again. She says, I know that from 1700s, they made them from wood. God, splinters though. Oh, but that's fucking funny. Now you know where that terminology comes from. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Do you know what the first vibrator was?
What?
A vacuum cleaner attachment.
No.
I think that's why Bryan brought the vacuum cleaner in the house
Okay.
that night.
Well,
You know?
there you go.
There weren't any signs of SA,
Ah,
but
I see what you're
that doesn't
saying.
mean it didn't happen.
Oh my God. We could do like a whole live stream on like ancient, oh my God. Just the history of sex toys presented by yours truly with her co-host, brand new co-host, Twiz.
That's really the only thing I know, the vacuum cleaner attachment one.
You told,
But that's why all the old housewives were vacuuming all the time, you know? They weren't doing it to keep stuff clean.
That's
perverts.
just so disgusting and gross though. Like think about all the shit that vacuums suck up. Ew.
I don't think it was like a sucky part. It just used the suction to make things vibrate, you know? Kind of like a whistle. It probably had like, you know how like a whistle, there's like a little ball in it and it goes around really fast?
Mm-hmm.
It was probably something like that, you know?
Vacuum cleaner has that?
Well, the vibrator attachment probably had something like that. Like what made it vibrate?
I don't know. I've never had a vibrating
That's what I'm
vacuum.
Sure you haven't. We really believe that. Sure.
I mean, you know, my experience vacuums like they either suck or they don't suck. If they suck, if you know what I mean.
It's a nice cover up. We're really believing you.
Twiz. That is so, you know, there's a lot of great stories about this type of stuff. You know what I mean? That people have. Category for the next members only, right?
Absolutely.
I have lots of funny stories too from when I was living in Boone. There was like right there on the main road, right near the university. They had the one like adults only shop. I don't know. What do you call it? I guess like, I don't know. Anyway, it was called Night Secrets, and it was just the name was so funny, and the font was really funny, and everything about it was really funny, and that yeah, it was funny. She gave it to you. You did it to yourself. How right on topic though, right? If that's the case, Angel D, doing it. You had to do it to yourself. Well, did you use a vacuum cleaner? Did you use a rock? Did you use a piece of wood? What are we talking about? Oh, right on time there. That one. Good job. Good job, James. Oh my God. Yes. I see where you're going with that one. Emphasis on member. Yep. Twiz has to pee. Well, maybe now is the time. Twiz is a mod. We covered a lot of ground today. We started with you know, the big news with all these documents, right? I mean, my God, we've covered. It's run the gamut tonight, and you know, my God, finishing off with you know, old-fashioned or what? Not even right? Maybe like historical.
Do you mean finishing the night off with a blow, or
yes. Finishing. What is the word I'm looking for? You know, archaic, vintage. No, you know, like the prehistoric. Here we go. Prehistoric sex toys. But the night's not over yet because we'll be back. We'll be back for more. So with a bang. There you go. Thank you. Yes, coming in clutch. A bang. Yes. Also, we do have a command. Historic. Thank you. That's another good word. Historic. Thank you. There we go. Another quoting Michael Scott. It squeaks when you bang it. Anyway, Twiz is going to burst. We don't want that to happen. especially not after he's now become a mod and a ghost. Horrible History's dirty version. Yeah. Oh, we did actually have a Just the Tip. I forgot that was earlier in the live stream. We did have a question about when is somebody a virgin or not a virgin and Just the Tip. So that did come up earlier. But anywho, but you guys are awesome. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you for being in Twiz's presence. I'll just go ahead and say it on his behalf. Twiz's bangs when you skate. Oh my God, that's so funny. With a bang. And you guys are lucky to be in his presence and whatnot, right? I'll just repeat. I'll send that message out. But no kidding. You guys are the best. I love you guys. Squirrel Crew for life. Yo. And we will be back together soon. You know, because we can't not go Gamecocks for real. Yes. And we love you guys. See y'all soon. But for now, oh my God, Twiz, are you controlling? No, you're not. Okay, just kidding. It's my mouse. It's me controlling it. All right, for now, scroll out.